to 125 win year. I mean, you know, he was very resilient. Jeter's bounce back, I'd say, was from 2003 when he hurt his shoulder.
Yes.
Because after that, he was dominant the rest of his way. I mean,
do you think? Do you? And again, you talked about knowing Mr. Steinbrenner. Do you think?
I think Hal's running the good team.
Well, do you think, in terms of the steroids, do you think owners knew? Like, do you think Mr. Steinbrenner knew that his guys were taking steroids?
I don't think so.
Do you think some owners knew?
Because he wouldn't have tolerated it. I don't think he would have tolerated it.
Do you think some owners knew?
Well, obviously some people had to know. They just wouldn't open up. I don't know who would know though.
I think I think most of the managers, again, being with them on a daily basis, I think the managers knew. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Joe Torre fan.
Right.
Joe Torre not knowing that Roger Clemens was doing something, or Jason Giambi, or half of the Yankees team.
Sure.
Then you're lost. You don't know what's going on. Tony La Russa, the same thing.
With the Cardinals, yeah, with McGuire. Well, the one thing about Torre is, and I love the guy, he's such a good guy, but obviously he was put into such a glorious situation set up by Buck Showalter and by Mr. Stickmichael himself, Gene Stickmichael. And it's kind of interesting because once that whole core disbanded, or that after 01 when everybody retired, like O'Neill and all them, that's when I think we saw Torre's managing skills be tested. Because he didn't have all that talent after 01. He had the majority of
he had talent, but they were a bloop and a blast, and out in the first round almost basically every other year. I mean, they made the World Series in 03, and then they made it. They didn't make it under Girardi. It was Girardi's first year. Joe's last year was Torre's last year was 07.
Right.
But I've had this discussion. Is Joe Torre overrated? I think he made the great moves when he had the talent and it worked.
Right.
But then, like you said, and I agree with you. Some of his coaching flaws were exposed.
Well, especially when we saw Scott Proctor be used all the time till his arm fell off. Of course, he went over to LA with him.
And then he went over. Yeah. Scott Proctor's probably like my arm. That was one of the things that I always
Paul Quantrill set like a record for most relief appearances. I couldn't believe it.
Joe Torre, to me, and again, God bless the dynasty. God bless Joe Torre. I don't think he knew how to manage a pitching staff.
Well, he had Mel there.
In terms of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Mo was the only one.
No, he had Mel there. Mel Stoller.
Well,
all right.
Yeah, but, you know, outside of Mariano, yeah, so if things would get dicey, we'll just go to Mariano. But some of his moves leading up to Mariano were puzzling, especially from
the bridge was shaky for a long time.
Especially 04, 05, 06, 07.
Yeah.
That was, and again, we can debate this all the time, that he should have pulled the Yankees off the field in 07.
Yeah, when the Nats are on you, you got to do something. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But, no, man.
Because I think that's what got Joe Girardi fired.
While we're on baseball, really quickly, oh, my God, what's Machado? What's Harper thinking here? What are they looking for? I mean, $220 million is not enough for Manny Machado for 7 years, but Yankees?
I think it's a disgrace, and I think this will ultimately lead to another baseball players strike.
Oh.
The fact that these guys have not got signed yet. I mean, I honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Dallas Keuchel signed yet.
I have not seen that anywhere, and that's
so
surprising.
You
have heard a little bit too.
I understand that, but we're gonna sign James Paxton over Dallas Keuchel. Well, you know.
I think Paxton.
We gotta manage the checkbook there, the Yankees. So they're you know, I mean, but Keuchel, Harper, Machado, all three of them not signed. Why?
And I don't know. Is DeGrom not a free agent? What is his deal?
This is the issue. This is the issue with DeGrom. They are trying to negotiate a contract extension.
I think before the season makes sense because you know if this lingers to the regular season, it will weigh over the whole Citi Field crowd. And it will weigh over Citi Field. And right now, Callaway's entering his second year. And they don't want that distraction. I don't blame them. But also, they're also going to have Cano there now. They're going to have all these different pieces. And to have a contract negotiation overshadow all that would actually be a darn disgrace, don't you think?
I think it'd be a huge disgrace for the Mets, who now have a GM that rivals Rex Ryan in terms of talking, and he hasn't won anything.
He came in here day one and said, "Oh, the Mets are going to be first in the National League," and I'm like, "In what planet?"
Well, about that.
So
anytime you have DeGrom, and anytime you have Syndergaard, those are two guys right there that, if healthy, with a lineup,
right,
are going to win games. And with the addition of Robinson Cano, you can't tell me if the Met lineup is not better from last year. It is.
Of course it is. And I'm very curious now to see how Cano goes off the 80-game suspension. Injured there a little bit as well. I'm not sure how he's going to, but I think it's a big move. It's a big pickup.
And the Mets bullpen is phenomenal. We talked about the Yankees bullpen. The Mets bullpen is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They re-up the bullpen. The Mets bullpen looks great. The Mets team, the Mets can win 91, 92 games. I'm not disputing that. The thing is, they better win 91, 92 games.
Yeah.
The way that Brody's talking, they better win 91, 92 games.
And I think for the Met fan base, they want to see that. I'm very happy for David Wright, who gets to be a special advisor now. Smart move on his part, because I think there was like a contract thing where he was going to cost him more if he didn't.
He'll be the manager in a year once Callaway fails.
And that will happen. Remember when Callaway said this, actually, and I know you're probably a Yankee fan base, but we're talking Mets at the moment. I'm a Yankee fan, but the Mets are just a phenomenon to talk about. And I tell you why. Because, okay, my phone blew up. Severino signs for 4 years with a 2023 club option. He's signed. The Yankees took care of their business. Why wouldn't I expect the Mets not to take care of their business? Why wouldn't I expect them, or why would I expect them to have this done already? They're the Mets. I don't see it being done by March because it's just a different dynamic. The Yankees get things done, and the Mets are such a show that I could see this lingering literally up to first pitch, I guess at 1:05 or whatever, 1:10 p.m. I could see that happening because the Mets never really seem to pull it together when they need to.
Well, it's been mismanagement for a long time.
Yep.
They're looking for something new. If Brody can, put some fire in this, God bless him.
Yep.
I think he's improved the team. I don't think he's improved the team by as much as he says, but I also think that the Nationals are going to take a step back.
Right.
And I think the jury's still out on the Braves and the Phillies. And again, the Mets have added offensive pieces. The Mets have bolstered their bullpen, and the Mets still have one of the better starting pitching staffs with those two alone. Of
course.
With those two alone.
If
healthy.
That's
always the thing with the Mets, if healthy.
Well, I was at Citi Field actually a week or so after the trade deadline, and I saw Syndergaard, and I'm like, listen, they were under 500, I think, at the deadline last year. Would you rather have gotten a big slugger to try and make it in September, or weren't you happy that all of your starters were still there? All of them being Syndergaard, DeGrom, Wheeler, too, if I'm not mistaken. Matt Harvey, he was great for the team at one point, but he shot himself in the foot many times with the Mets. What? He really did. And now we'll see. But the biggest one, of course, every year is Cespedes. What does he do? Is he healthy? Is he not healthy?
First off, I don't know why people... Well, this is another thing in terms of the universal DH.
Sure, yeah.
Is there any team that needs the universal DH more than the Mets?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
So he
Todd Frazier.
Yeah.
Todd Frazier. Cespedes.
Yep.
These guys can just hit. But, Syndergaard hit 2 home runs against a C-level pitcher. Stop. Please stop. Bartolo Colon closed his eyes and one left the ballpark. Stop. Again, do I like the strategy?
Okay.
I do. I love the strategy. I love, when I think National League pinch hitting, bunting, small ball, I like that. That's the way I coach. I love it. Do I think maybe they should be given the option?
Okay.
If you have a pitcher in that lineup that can hit, hey, you know what? Syndergaard's going to hit.
Yeah.
He's going to hit. And then it's up to you what you do after that. But I think maybe you should give the National League, maybe you should give everyone else the option.